Hi, and welcome to Inside the Huddle. I'm Daily Review sports editor Geoff Stoute here with Morgan City coach Eric Howard. Morgan City this week will be playing North Central. Morgan City comes to the game with a 1-1 record, as does North Central. Both teams won their Week 2 contest. North Central breaking a lengthy losing streak, 28 games, while Morgan City held on, came back and defeated Hanson. Coach, obviously thoughts after last week, heading into this week. I know you weren't particularly happy. I mean, you're always happy to get a win, but it was kind of mixed emotions.
No doubt. We got the win, which is always the most important thing, but we didn't really play very well. We had a lot of things to correct, but it's always nice to correct it after a win.
You go into this week, you don't have any time to feel bad about that, or you got to flush it right away because you got a North Central team coming in with a lot of momentum, having won their first game in 28 tries.
No doubt, they'll be excited, especially after losing a big long streak like that. They'll be coming in trying not to get back on that losing end, and so they're going to come out here and try to fight us pretty hard.
You watched some tape last year on Morgan City's opponents, and then this year obviously you've seen North Central. Have you seen anything different on them?
A few more athletes on the field this year. Seem to be a little more consistent on offense and defense, and really their guys are just making a whole lot of more plays.
Specifically, what kind of things do they do on offense and defense?
Well, I'm going to tell you, they're actually pretty diverse. They do line up in some two-back with a wide receiver, and then they do a lot of empty stuff. And so they kind of jump back and forth from a heavy run set into more of a heavy pass set. But if they get in that empty stuff, they'll do a lot of motion and run to it also.
And defensively?
Defensively, they're kind of a 4-4, a little similar to what we are. They tend to bring their guys a little more off the edge than we do. And just play cover 3 in the back of it.
All right, Coach. Best of luck to you this week.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. In other action this week, Central Catholic will face False River on the road. Central Catholic is 0-2, looking for their first win of the season after falling in a heartbreaker last week to Archbishop Hannon, 21-13. The Eagles led 7-6 at halftime, but Archbishop Hannon had the upper hand in the second half. The Eagles didn't play that bad defensively. They gave up about 264 yards of offense. Chris Singleton again led the Eagles. He had 183 yards rushing and 2 scores. False River, meanwhile, is 1-1 after defeating St. John of Plaquemine in their Week 1 contest. They fell a week ago to North Lake Christian, 47-27. In other action, Patterson High will be on the road this week. They'll travel to Lafayette High to face the Lions. But Patterson is 1-1 on the season after defeating Franklin, their opener. They fell to Assumption 41-32 last week. It was another tough game. Patterson led 19-13 at halftime, and Assumption came back and outscored them in the second half. Meanwhile, Lafayette High also had a similar contest. They fell to St. Martinville 28-20. Lafayette High actually had a 12-0 lead at one point in that game, and St. Martinville rallied and won. Lafayette High, they're 0-2. They fell in their opener also to St. Thomas More. For Patterson last week, Dejan Richard led the receivers. Randy Paul threw for 220 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. And Dontre Nicholas led the Patterson ground game with a huge game with 220 yards rushing and 2 scores. In the final game of the weekend, Berwick will host South Terrebonne. It's a big game for the Panthers because this week they entered the top 10 of the Louisiana Sports Writers Association Class 3A poll. They're number 10 this week. It's been a long time since Berwick has been ranked, and it's good to see them get that ranking. Last week they got into the top 10 after upsetting Northwest, the then number 9 ranked team in 3A last week, 52-34. In that game, Berwick put up with video game-like numbers. Over 656 yards of offense. Mitchell Sanford threw for 557 and accounted for 600 of their yards total. Josh Carver had 306 yards receiving and 4 scores. And Keenan Jones, who's the LSU commit, had 194 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. That's another edition of Inside the Huddle. Thanks for watching.